Happy Homebrew Wednesday, everybody. It's Vinny here, Vinny's Homebrewing Forum. It's probably going to be a short one this week, just trying to catch up on a few things. I was away last week in Perth, which was good fun. Managed to visit a couple of breweries, which we'll talk about in a minute. But first, this is the class of 2014. So these are my NHC entries. So we've got our Berliner Weiss here, the strawberry one we did in the shop. The pumpkin ale. That was a spiced pumpkin saison. We've got, what's that one? The session red beer that I did, and then Laura's porter. So my wife did. This is her first ever beer. So these two have been bottled from the keg this morning, and these two are bottle conditioned. So fingers crossed for them. Back on the stand properly. After last year's sort of failure, I sort of took that, with a grain of salt, and I guess a lot of what I've seen through drinking a fair amount of homebrew of this last year, and the SJ Pour and a few other things, is that yeast management is really crucial. So I focused, after getting that poor results last year, I decided to really focus on yeast health and make sure I was doing, getting the ferment right. So I've always had temp control pretty much from the start, but yeah, I think pitching the yeast and getting the the wort down to the right temperature and all that, giving it a good old shake as well, has been very different. So this year I've started using yeast nutrient. Making starters, pitching the right amount of yeast, rehydrating. I never used to rehydrate my yeast. So I think all of those things have sort of contributed to myself having better results in the comps that I've entered into this year. So the SJ Pour, I was close, I was fourth. That same beer won the IPA and Pale Ale category in the Twisted Hop comp. So generally, they've been getting better, and certainly this year's beers, they're probably the best looking bunch. Last year the Porter and the SB were a little bit cloudy. And previously I've had floaties in the IPA and all that sort of stupid rubbish. But these this year, I don't know if you can see, is the Berliner Weiss is like a lager. It's clear as, and it pours this really nice sort of pinky hue. And even the saison is really clear. And the two out of the keg, obviously, they're not, very clear as well. So hopefully we'll get a lot of threes for looks, and after that I guess we'll see. So fingers crossed. I haven't really planned to enter anything this year. I'm so busy with the shop and everything, I just forgot it was coming up. And now, because I'm working in the brewery, I can't actually win anything. But it's really good, I think, to find to get that feedback. And in tasting notes from some of these people who've got super palates, it'd be really good to sort of then taste the beers afterwards and read those notes and just use that as a learning experience as well. So if anyone else is entering, good luck. It's always a bit humbling sometimes when you get these results back and you're like, oh man, I don't taste that at all. But we enter it because we want that feedback. I don't think a lot of us enter it just because we want to win the prizes. It's nice to win a prize if you do get that. But I like to, hopefully we'll get a couple of medals out of these somewhere. I think these are my early predictions. I think the Berliner Weiss will go alright. That's definitely pours nicely. It's got that nice tartness, and the strawberries come through they're quite subtle, but they're there. So hopefully that one will go well. The session red, is probably too hoppy for style, but I have noted that in my notes. I brewed it as a sessional red IPA, but there's no real category for that, so it's sort of, I've had to put it into the American amber. So I guess we'll find out how that one goes. The Porter, Laura's Porter, is actually pretty good. It may be slightly, I put it in the brown porter category, not the robust. It's a bit light on colour for that one, but it does have a slight roastiness. I may have another drink of it tonight, but it should be alright. I don't think it's over roasty for start. Fingers crossed. And then the pumpkin saison and I put that in as a spice beer, because when we tried it the other day, and the ginger and the cinnamon were really quite prevalent. But it was brewed to be almost like a pumpkin pie type beer. So the pumpkin is sort of there in the background. The pumpkin has added some really nice colour to the beer. But I mean, their palates are much better than mine. They may be able to pick out the pumpkin as well. But definitely those spices are overpowering. So that's why it went into the spice category, herb and spice. So we'll see. At least in that one, you get to name what you were doing. So I've said it's brewed like an American spiced pumpkin beer, which do tend to focus more on the spices than the pumpkin part. So fingers crossed. What else have we got going on? I've just come back from Perth. Went to visit my sisters. I've got one sister who lives in Perth, and the other one had come to visit. So unbeknownst to them, we arranged with my mum and dad that my wife and I, Laura, would fly over and surprise them. So we got a bit delayed. So we actually arrived at midnight and managed to surprise the hell out of my sisters, which was fun. And whilst I was there, I managed to get to Feral Brewing out in their little place. It's quite interesting to see, because I've heard of Feral before. I've had their Hop Hog, which is their IPA before. But it's good to see they've got a sour barrel stuff going on as well. They had a real nice Berliner Weiss and a nice sort of funky, I guess it was like a golden ale. That was quite nice. It's nice to get out and see these places. I didn't get to go around the brewery because you've got to pre-book it, but it looked like a 1200 litre system. So it's quite interesting to see a beer that's I've heard of before and tasted here at Beervana. Being able to produce that from such a small setup, but whether that's just the one they've got on show and there's a bigger one in the back, I don't know. There was no way to find out. But yeah, nice to go and see. I wouldn't mind have gotten around a few more, but time was tight. We were only there for 4 days. But it was a good experience. And what else is coming up? Just the NHC, I guess. So that's in, as of now, probably about 10. It's like a week Saturday. So it's Tuesday at the moment. So going to get all this boxed up and sent today. And we'll find out in a week and a bit's time if the work was worth it, or if we all sit down and get those results and cry into our pillows again. But yeah, like I said, if anyone's out there is entering, good luck. And what I might do once I get the results back, I'm pretty sure I've got enough of all the beers to then go through the beer tasting notes with the beers and see if we can pick up the same things. That will be me for now. Thanks for watching, and I need to do the draw for the right. I'm going to cut off now, but then I'll come back with the draw results for our competition we ran last time. So I didn't forget. Sorry. Alright, catch you soon. Cheers. Bye. There you go. I have my bits of paper with all the names on that commented with the right answer to the question from last week. So here we go. I'm going to try and throw them up in the air and catch 2. Wish me luck. Semi-successful, more like cool. So, congrats to Sean Gerard. Send me a message with your details in. And Piston Broke. So, there we go. You will get one of these fancy wallets that work tremendously well, actually. Because I made them. So I've been using one for a couple of months now. And a stubby cooler from Yakima Valley Hops. So, cheers everyone, have a good weekend, enjoy the long weekend if you're in New Zealand, and you'll see me next week, probably, doing something. Alright, cheers, bye bye.